Is it possible to buy real estate that is technically not for sale? My name's Kris Krohn, and I've done thousands of deals, and today we're gonna explore that very topic. In fact, stay tuned, because coming up next, I'm gonna share with you a time that it worked, a time that it didn't, and what you need to know about doing it correctly.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
So today I'm gonna give you two strategies for how you can actually approach the owner of a property so that you can buy it from them, even if it's technically not for sale. But before I do, I wanna share with you a couple of examples just from my own life where this has actually happened. There was actually a particular piece of real estate that I really wanted to own. I had been looking for about a year and a half for this very specialized piece of property, and it was for rent. And I ended up making a purchase offer on it. And you know what? They not only entertained it, but they gave me a better deal with better numbers than I was planning on. So I was absolutely thrilled. And that deal's gone on to work really, really well. But there was another time, actually just recently, right now I'm actually looking at another piece of land. And this one is actually not a property, it's a piece of land that I really want to buy. And I made an offer to purchase it, even though it's not for sale. The guy came back and basically said no. And I'm like, all right, well, obviously you can win some and you can also lose some. The question is, how do you give yourself the highest likelihood of getting a property that you want, even when it's not for sale? So there's two fundamental strategies here. The first one is, what can you give the owner that they want? The first option is literally cash, meaning, can I give you the right purchase price that you want? And it never hurts to go to someone that has something that's not for sale and literally making them offer. And they might come back to you and say, you know what, I've thought about your offer. And if it was at this price or at the price you've offered, I'm good to go. Let's actually do this deal and sell it. That's the easy one. The second strategy requires a little bit more finesse, maybe even a little more creativity. Here's my question for the second strategy. What are you going to do with the property? And what can you offer the existing owner that might be worthwhile for them to do a collaboration with you? You know, I was in New Zealand and I went to Hobbiton, right? So if you watch Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, the Shire is filmed in New Zealand and it's on this man's land. It's a farm. The scout that went out looking for the proper land found it on this man's farm, and they basically offered to give him some money and he let them shoot the film there. But then something interesting happened. All of his neighbors started recognizing, once the movie came out, that his land was the land of the Shire. And they were going to bulldoze it down, and he actually stopped them from breaking down the set and actually went into a collaboration with Peter Jackson and essentially said, hey, you can continue using our land and you can continue having tours and trucks and people come on through and check this out, and we'll just split the money. That ended up being a win-win. So it's not always about ownership. You've got to be thinking in terms of control. So for the second option, if you really want this land, is there any kind of benefit of what you're going to do with the land that you can pass on to the previous owner? Maybe it's a vacation cabin and you can be like, hey, and you can use it 2 weeks out of the year. Maybe you actually have a different way of cash flowing it and you want to give them a piece of the revenue. There's so many different things that you can do, but you got to put yourself into their shoes and ask and even find out, what do you want? And I think that's the final advice that I would give you that is perhaps most important, is that you should sit down with the owner and find out what's important to them. They might want to hold on to the land for sentimentality's sake, and you might find that you can actually keep the land and honor its original intention, and they get that benefit, but they still get to cash out. Find out what's important to them, find out what they want, so that you can structure an offer that can have an appeal to them. One of the ways that I utilize this methodology in my world is I have developed a system, for example, for finding some of the best properties in the world. You know, all of my properties are producing between 20 and 30+% annual ROI. It's some of the best investments that you can find out there. And I'm finding more than I can actually purchase. And it is in my best interest to find as many good deals as possible so that I can buy them whenever I want them. But I also have to motivate my team to keep finding them when I can't buy them. And that's why I've created my partnering program that says, hey, for those of you with money out there in 401ks and IRAs, there's all these good deals. I can only buy some of them. If you help buy the rest, we can split it and it's a deal for both of us. People love striking that deal because I give them the peace of mind of all of my track record and professionalism, and they get to own property without putting in all of the time and effort. I mean, think about it. It's 341 hours of work per deal that they no longer have to do. So learning how to be creative is actually how you make deals happen. And I think that that's noteworthy, and it's something really worth your time in actually thinking about. The last example I'll share with you that gets this hyper creative really comes down to another one of my programs called the Maverick Program. It's the way I help people that don't have money. They basically go and find the people that have hidden assets in 401ks and IRAs. They talk about my extensive real estate experience. They talk about partnering with me. And when they do partner with me, I share some of that ownership with them who may actually made that referral. So at the end of the day, what I hope this content is doing is helping you understand that it can be a highly creative process. You just got to figure out what drives people. What do they want? And then do the best you can at fulfilling those needs and wishes. So property is not for sale. You want said property. How do you actually find that property? The good news today is that Dr. Google is here to serve all of our needs. And on Google, you can find the local county records. Now, almost every county, at least in America, actually makes it public information. I think they have to by law. And if you find the county online for your district, you can type in the address, basically find who owns that property, how do you get in contact with them? Because once you know who that owner is, sometimes you'll get an address, but you really want to search. You can go put their information in Google, and sometimes you can wind up with a phone number. And if you can get that phone number, that's the best first approach, is to contact them. If you can't talk to them on the phone, send them an email. If that doesn't work, send them something in snail mail. But I think that that is always the least practical of all the different three options that I've just gone over with you. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I hope it was really helpful for you. For those of you that are saying, wow, Kris, thank you for the advice. Thank you for the information. For those of you that are also interested in Maverick and saying, wow, Kris, can I learn how to actually co-own properties with you and accelerate my wealth curve? I can do that for you as well. All you got to do is click the link below. You can get some more information about that, and we can find out if you might be my next Maverick. If you are, I'm going to show you how to get creative in the ways that we talked on this video and help you buy your next properties with no money and no credit.